Hello, everyone. This is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. I am continuing on with my great summer weekend that I just had, and I am flying with the coastal decor, the coastal cottage decor, the beach decor, the summer decor. I mean, it has so many names nowadays. Summer is right around the corner, and as you can see with the window, this side, right behind me, it is sunny outside. Despite the fact that I am wearing a hoodie, because I'm in the basement, it's a little chilly in my studio, but look at that sunny weather out there. The sun is just beaming outside. What better way to celebrate that sunshine than some more coastal nautical beach decor? Today, a Dollar Tree rag wreath. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. I am using the 14-inch wire wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. And I found this wood hanging decor wooden disc as well. I'm going to use these crafter square fabric squares, and I picked up a whole bunch of them just so I didn't run out. I'm also using this page from my scrapbook. There's scrapbook paper also at the Dollar Tree. I've seen it there. You can pick that up as well. And I'm going to be using those shells that come in that little bag in the decorative center, Mod Podge, a paintbrush, and of course I'm going to be using my normal cutting utensils and my glue gun and glue sticks for this project today. I am starting out trying to decide which scrapbook piece of paper that I'm going to use. This whole scrapbook had a whole bunch of on point, on theme colors, but I decided to use this beach theme. It was kind of got a grid on top of it, and I'm just going to lay down some Mod Podge. So I'm using a really good layer of Mod Podge. I noticed when I first started putting it on, that wood was just soaking it up like crazy. It was so dry. So I really put a really good coating on there, and then I just placed that disc and my scrapbook piece of paper face down and made sure to rub out all of the bubbles. Once that's done, give a good trim to it. This is not going to be seen, the edges isn't going to be seen, so it didn't really matter. And then at the very end, I'm just going to add another good layer of Mod Podge just to seal everything in there. This is a matte Mod Podge. I didn't use the glossy. Afterwards, I thought it would be kind of cool if I did the water in a glossy Mod Podge, kind of make it stand out. And while that is all drying, I'm going to cut up my fabric squares. And for this, I am just unfolding it. Then I'm going to fold it in half. And then you'll see there's that seam right at the right-hand side. I'm going to follow that, give it a good cut. Once I cut that, I'm going to fold it again and then cut at the seam. And that's going to give us 4 layers of fabric. And then I just start randomly cutting strips. Now, for me, I am totally fine with a rag wreath being raggedy. Nothing has to be perfect. It can be, the threads could be coming out, the strips can be different sizes. But for people who want to measure it, these are about 10 inches by about 1.5, 1.25 inches. And then, of course, I have this shell-looking fabric that I'm going to cut up the same way as well. This teal color, which I thought was a beautiful, beautiful color. This is a baby blue. It looks white on camera, but it is a baby blue. And then, of course, my white. I loved this white fabric, by the way. It was so nice to work with. All my strips are cut. Here is my 14-inch wire wreath frame, and we have 4 wires going all the way around this wreath frame. And we're going to use the inner 2 and outer 2 as a pair today. So the outer 2 ones, I'm going to do the outside, and then the inner 2 ones I'm going to do as the inside strips. All I'm doing is folding that fabric right in half. Then I'm going to create a loop on one side, feed the tails through, and then just give it a little bit of a tug so your knot is right at the edge on the right-hand side there. You can kind of see me playing around with it. There is our first little knot, and then I'm just going to continue with the same knot. So folding our fabric right in half, creating a loop, feeding it through the middle spacing, add those tails through the loop, give it a little bit of a pull, and there we go. We have our second one. And now I'm just going to pick random colors of fabric. I'm going to keep doing the same thing over and over again until I fill up that first section. And really, don't pull too hard. You want it to be nice and tight, but you don't want to bend the metal. And for each section, there is 11 pieces of fabric that I'm using. So 11 strips got the look that I have right here. And now I'm just going to continue doing that all the way around with the 11 pieces in each section. And I am almost done my first round, and look how beautiful this looks. I'm going to flip it over face down because I'm just going to do a little added something that I do. You don't necessarily have to do it, but what I like to do is I like to add a little bit of glue right on the back side. So my wreath front is facing down, and I'm working on the back right now. And all I'm doing is I'm adding a good bead of glue. You can kind of see here, right in between where those knots end. That just secures everything, because over time I found with this knot, the fabric does come loose. And I tried it once with the glue and it worked perfectly, so I just continued on using that glue. Once that's all dry, I'm going to flip my wreath face up, and then I'm just going to start my inner circle. And it's the same thing. I'm using the 2 inside wires. I'm folding the fabric in half, creating a loop, and then feeding the tails through that loop. So here you see, we're going to fold in half, creating that loop, feed it through, and then feed those tails through as you give it a little bit of a tug, and you can move it back and forth. And I'm just going to continue on doing that all the way on the inside as well. It's the exact same procedure that I did on the outside, and putting my last few little knots here, cleaning it up, and you can kind of see it coming together already. Now you can totally leave it like this if you want. That's totally fine. And here I am doing my final touches of adding that glue down. Our little disc is all dry. Let's attach it to the back. So again, the front face of the wreath is facing down. So this is upside down technically. And then I'm also going to attach this upside down as well. So my little disc, so my picture faces forward. So just remember how you have your wreath, otherwise you can glue it on backwards. And here we go. I have those shells, so I think I'm just going to add a couple of those. For this, I wanted the rags to be the star of the show. I didn't want a huge bow or a lot of shells or something like that. So the shells in itself are just a little accent piece, just to say, hey, look, this is kind of a beach theme, without being too overpowering. So I'm just using a couple of shells. I think I used 7 in total, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 I did use. There we go. But here is the final coastal cottage, summery, beachy, nautical themed rag wreath for you today, with those beautiful colors of fabric, that scrapbook paper, which just turned out to work out perfectly. And of course, those shells, everything coming from the dollar store. A really inexpensive, but really a show-stopping piece. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed today's beach-themed wreath. I know I certainly had a lot of fun making it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.